Da, 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 da. Greetings, fellow test subjects. Test subject 1337 here for Aperture Gaming. They make it, we test it, you play it. And now it is time to blow off some steam, as Aperture Gaming is proud to present a B.O.S. review. As you can see from my headgear today, I'm going to be doing a game that involves traveling into the wild blue yonder. That's right, today's game that we are reviewing is the Brew Barons. Now this game, holy smokes, it reminds me of so much. There's so many different shows and games, not references, but it just reminds me of so much stuff all crammed together into one thing, including but not limited to Jak and Daxter, The Lost Frontier, Skies of Arcadia Legends, Rogue Galaxy, Pirate 101, and some elements of, let's see, there's also Valkyria Chronicles, and a little bit of Red Dead Redemption 2, just to name a few. So, what is this game? Well, warm up the engine, strap yourself in, and get ready to make a few deliveries, because here we go! Series. This game is a brand new title. It is not a sequel, prequel, or in-between cool. And even though I mentioned it reminds me of so many other works, it is not affiliated with any of them. Team. This game is developed and produced by LifeTap Studios, which I am impressed to say that is a studio that consists of 2 developers and 1 composer, and it was backed by a whole bunch of people on Kickstarter. I think I actually remember seeing this at one point, so... Yeah. Plot. The game takes place on it's one of those worlds that's ours, almost, so I'll get to it later, but it's the age of flying machines, the age of aeronautics. It's like, alright, so there was a game series called Crimson Skies, and I think they say it was listed as the beginning of Diesel Punk. That's what this game is. You first start off playing as Nigel and Jackie. You are a pilot and co-pilot. After buying your money for the world's worst beat-up biplane, you want to open a bar / brewery / delivery service so you can work with other bars, because you want to brew and sell your beer, because in the Adley Bay and the peninsula, there are air pirates who are forcing other places to sell their very low-grade beer and other alcohol. Your job is you want to get good with the businesses, make your own beer, and drive out the pirates, either by business or through aeronautical combat. And there's so much about this game, it just, wow. Gameplay controls. The controls for this game is divided across the board, like pretty spread out. First, you have gameplay of the plane itself. You use the mouse button for flying around in navigation, but you also use the WASD keys. You have to ignite the plane engine, and you have to get up to speed, you have to take off, and you have to slow down and not come in hard or too fast when you land. It's a pontoon plane, so you have to stick to water. And while you fly around, you use your water-based technology to either boost yourself to fly faster, use your water guns to shoot at either plants or pirates, or water bombs to also get plants. And then, so after you harvest the materials, you can fly around and interact with the businesses. When you interact with the business, they either have a contract for you to make a beer or deliver a beer, or you can pick up people who can work for your company. When you go back to your base, you have to refuel and repair your plane. And while you're out flying, if you found items like equipment, gears to repair your plane with, items to make the beers, or you can, and by making the beers, you can then sell it, which gives you money when you can buy upgrades for your plane. You craft the beers at your place, and you have to make sure for certain orders you have to follow very specific guidelines, like 50% of this fruit, 50% of this thing, and it has to have an alcohol consistency of something percent. You can then customize your bar and what it's named and what it looks like. And you can sell off any extra crops to the farmer, you can sell off your beers to the local places, and any people you can recruit, you can have them either in the plane with you or back at the base to help you with selling stuff. Now while you're doing all this, sometimes the papers will rate your establishment or your drinks. You'll have patrons there who will rate your drinks, and you can figure out how you can improve. And you need to make sure that whatever contract you take with a company, you fulfill it within a certain number of days, otherwise they'll get mad at you. Or you make sure the drink is accurate. And like I said, also there's collecting stuff outside and pirate combat. So there is just so much to this game. In fact, another thing reminds me of there's the old Disney show, Disney's Tailspin. It kind of reminds me of that because of the planes and the air pirates. So much to cover. Alright, so one thing I mentioned Valkyria Chronicles, and aside from it looking like that, it has some interesting factors like when you pick a pilot and a co-pilot, it'll say, Pro, this pilot can fly 20% faster. Con, the water gun goes out 15% faster. So yeah, there's that factor. So also, like there's a time thing. It says year 1, month 1, day 7. So you have to keep track of that. Like you'll see your pilots will get tired from flying around, so you have to make sure to devote a few hours for them getting some sleep. Otherwise, people will poop out on you. And you need to make sure you have good relationships with the bars, otherwise they'll drop business with you.
Graphics.
Graphically, this game looks beautiful. Honestly, if you had told me that this game was developed by Level 5 and or published by Namco Bandai Games, I would have believed it, because that's the company that made Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. Basically, Studio Ghibli, the game. I swear, flying around in this game, it feels like you're in a Studio Ghibli film. It's like Porco Rosso. Because Mr. Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli, they've always had the same things about in their films: flight and anti-war. So this definitely feels like a Miyazaki piece. It is beautiful. Everything looks great. The characters are interesting. The airplane model looks great, and the cities, like I said, it is just, this game is a sight to behold. It is very beautiful.
Audio.
Aside from looking good, audio is a very important driving factor in the story. Now, there's like maybe 2 or 3 times I've heard a human voice so far, but because I haven't heard anything else, the majority of it is like the sounds of the plane starting up and turning off. The music that plays as you're flying majestically through the air. There's like radio communications. There's the sound effects of the machinery being worked on the planes. There's the environment around you. Everything just, yeah, it's very nature sounding along with the machines, and the score seems really good. It's a very, very, very good score that goes along with this game. Kind of peaceful when you're flying, and then when you get to the intense parts, it changes up pitch and tone. And it kind of reminds me of like how you have the peaceful flying around for Skies of Arcadia, and then it has a very distinct sound from when you get into air combat.
Multiplayer.
No, there is no multiplayer.
DLC.
Yes, there is DLC. I was just talking about the great soundtrack. That is the only DLC currently available for this game. So yeah, there's that. But then there's kind of a different DLC. First off, for your plane, like if you have a pattern idea you want for your plane, here's what they actually say: that if you make it in a 32-bit format, and if it's 55, and if it's like a certain measurement size, you can actually import your own camo pattern into the game for the plane. And it's not just that. Whatever drink you make, you can actually create and import your own label. And I'm like, okay, you have my attention. Yeah, because when you customize, make a drink, you can customize the name, what bottle it is, what cork it is, and what the label is. They have some pre-select stuff for all of these, but as for the label, you can actually make your own. So I have some ideas that I'm going to be doing later on. But yeah, so that's the only DLC so far. So hopefully we'll get some more. Especially when we get to the next part. There's like the good DLC, and then there's mandatory patch update DLC, which we shall cover in this next segment.
Issues.
Okay, I love this game. I genuinely do, but there are some issues with it, and hopefully these can be fixed. It's a new game, just came out, but there's a couple areas that need to be addressed. For starters, there's a map that you get. It shows the local map, it shows the world map, but you can't like zoom in on the local map. You can't like select, oh, I want to fly to this location I discovered, or I want to put a personal marker there. You can't do that, so there's a slight problem there. Now, the game sometimes is unclear on how to progress. Like it says, go to this and do this thing, or like I was once asked to put out a fire on a boat. I was like, okay, do I use my water guns, or do I use my water bombs? Do I use the water jet? Like, it's some things it doesn't explain too clearly. Either in that aspect or like at all. Some stuff you either have to look up online, or you have to look up in the control segments on how to do a few things. So it doesn't show everything right off the bat, so it does that. Let's see, there's citing the voice work, there was some very minimal voice work. I swear there was more voice work in the trailers than there was in this this game. Now, it only saves when you're at docks, so if you mess up, you can't go back. There's not like a specific saves feature. It's very automatic in some areas. And there's a couple of tech-related bugs. Like, let's say you're at the start of the game and you have to refill your plane. It costs 30 silver to refuel. It'll say that you only have 20 silver, but yet when you fill up the whole way, it fills off, it tops off everything, and it says, oh, you still have plenty of gold and or silver. So there's a slight bug there. Now, I guess they're aware that some of this is happening because in the game they do have the ability where you pause it, you can file a bug report. So hopefully they're getting enough feedback from people who bought in this game, and hopefully there'll be a patch update soon. Another thing is when I was engaging in a dogfight with a pirate vessel, at one point I'm fighting and then suddenly my engine just straight up stopped working. I tried hitting the controls to get the engine to turn back on, and this wasn't like a combat theme. This was like the game just straight up bugged out. Also, at some point later on, the audio stopped working. Like the plane, I would hear it turn on, but then the engine was dead silent. So there are a few bugs. So it still needs some work. I mean, I love the game, but yeah, they need to do a few patch updates. But hopefully, if it was this good at the start, then these patches will make it even better. So here's looking to the future.
Buy, rent, or pass.
Yeah, I like the game, but I don't. I like it when a game comes out and it's new and everyone's enjoying it, but I don't like it when there's problems. So I don't think it's possible for rental, but at this point, I would say this game is a rental. If this game came out and if it was playing perfectly, I would buy it. This would be under my buy list, but right now I could just say it's a rental.
Overall score.
So I do like this game, I genuinely do, but I just think it needs a little more fine-tuning. Yeah, the engine's running, but the pontoons are leaking and the wings are falling off a little bit if you don't pay attention to it. So overall, we here at Aperture Games give the Brew Barons an 8.5 out of 10. I mean, if I didn't like it, would I be wearing this pilot helmet if I hated it? No, I would not. It'll be interesting to see if they can get it up and running a little bit better, and hopefully after it's doing a little better, maybe we'll get some more updates, like more bottle designs, more in-game labels. But yeah, still, I'm going to give this game a fair shot, and I'm looking forward to it because I've been working on a list of ideas of what I'm going to do in Photoshop and or Illustrator to make the labels for this. I want to give it a shot, see if I can put my own spin on things. Yeah, so this game reminded me of so much. It looks beautiful, it sounds amazing, but yeah, 8.5 out of 10 still needs some work. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Until next time, this has been Test Subject 1337 for Aperture Gaming saying thank you very much. I'm glad we got a chance to blow off some steam with this boss review. Until next time, thank you for watching, game on, and have a nice day.